Sheikh, just one, I would like to add just one thing here, because this is one of the most, I would say, untold ahadith that you just mentioned. The most famous ahadith when we talk about wealth, because there's a misunderstanding also in the concept of wealth and money and economics. Is the one which says that the biggest fitna for my ummah will be wealth, for example. So that, and then and because I was listening to one of the scholars, I would not say scholars, maybe one of the speakers, and he was portraying it with based on that hadith, that see, this is the biggest fitna, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has said, save yourself from money. You should not indulge into it. Have this much just to survive, to live, but more than over and above that. So where did our ummah go wrong? Where did we lose track of? I don't know what, I'm not sure if I should use the word. I'm going to be very, very, politically correct on that. But if I can use the word selective choice of hadith, where did the ummah go wrong there?
So first, regarding these principles that you mentioned, where we say the wealth is a fitna. The fitna is the trial, but also our family and the wife and children are trial as well. So we don't say because something is a trial, we don't go into it, right? So I have a tea, you see, I have a cup of tea here. I'm drinking tea, hot, right? Now, when you buy the tea from the shop, it says hot, okay? Which means handle with care. Don't just start drinking it and not understand its nature. So if you do it in the right way and you can handle it and you understand, then you are handling something in an appropriate way. That's why we marry, we have children, we have wealth, and all of these other things. Of course, this can become a trial where you take this as the ultimate object that makes you forget everything else. You forget yourself and everything. And so, as they say, money is the great servant, but very bad master. So what we don't want is material things to be master over us. Now that leads me to the point, how did we become, as you mentioned, people who from another perspective became a secular Muslims? You see, there is a two ways to secularize yourself. One is somebody tell you separate religion from the daily life. And you see, nobody can do that. Nobody can do that. Even today in the West, Disney is pushing agenda in their cartoons for the children. Clothes company are pushing their agenda. And everything you see, there is agenda there. You understand? And so when people say, newspaper, for example, you have a right wing, left wing, this, that, everything has underlying values that it is driving. So when somebody tells us remove religion from the daily life, we call it secular understanding. But Muslims do that as well. You see, in the past they used to tell us move away, but sometimes we adopt the system, we move away. How did we come to that situation? You see, when Muslim world became colonized, when the colonization started to happen, it was actually, and you should know, in that region, it is the businesses that would come. The businesses came, and then, of course, to reduce any resistance, this is where these ideas started gaining prominence. You see, and also you have sometimes people, they say, oh, look, everybody's coming. So what are these people doing? Everything is haram. Let's go back. And so somebody benefited from us being very passive, because this leaves them the market to take over. Now, what will happen over time? Maybe initially somebody got good idea, oh, these people, we don't want to have anything with them, let's move. But you didn't create Medina, you didn't create alternative, you didn't create a source of your strength. You let 100% of the market to somebody else. That somebody became a master, because that person is now providing you services, employing, advertising. The whole system is easily controllable by the few people who don't share your values. And so what will they promote? They would love, it's not for no reason that these ideas gain prominence in every place that was colonized. Because those who colonize, they wish nothing else than to have some opponent that they have to fight for the wealth, because they know through the wealth and influence and other areas as well, if they want to dominate, they will say to you, just go to the mosque, keep the Islam in your head and Islam in your mosque, and we are more than happy to let you like that. So this is very naive way of looking at reality.
Sorry, Sheikh, to interrupt you, Sheikh. And if I relate this analogy, is it not the same analogy that you just mentioned before, economic boycotting by the Makkans? So when they had the control, they could do that. So don't you think that Ummah actually has gone into the same era? I don't know if you call it era, but in the same mindset right now that, whenever they want, they can stop our phones, they can hack our phones, they can do anything because they have the economic control and technological control.
Well, this comes down on the very strategic part of economy. And the Prophet ﷺ said that the upper hand is the better hand. You understand? The upper hand is one that holds resources and give it to somebody. And the lower hand is one that is receiving. So we have a lot of these situations, a lot of the hadith that explain this. In one narration, the Prophet ﷺ gave example, and I often cite this to my students. He gave an example of a boat, like a ship with 2 decks. And he said, on one level, on the top deck, there are people who have water. But at the lower level, he said, there are people who need water. And every day they climb up to the top and they get some water. But after a while, this annoys some people. So one of them says, let's drill the hole in the boat. Those are the people at the lower deck, so we can get the water ourselves. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying here, what will happen if these people on the top deck don't prevent people at the bottom deck from drilling the hole? The whole ship will sink. Okay? Now think of the implications on this. It implies that you have control over stopping other people what they are doing. That means you have military, police, intelligence services, you control the laws, you make the laws, you can enforce the laws, and you know what's happening. And if you don't exercise power, the bad action by people will destroy you. And this is the bad action by the people who are not coordinated, who are not powerful. They are powerless, depend on you. Now think of that. When you have power, if you don't use it, you destroy yourself. Use it for good. Now think of the opposite. Think about if these powerless people were in charge and they had everything to impose, to drill, to imprison you, to enforce the laws, and they're still doing that. And now you don't have power to stop them. Do we think Islam wants us to be in that situation?
That's why that base is with the lower hand, and it is no more.
That's right.
Absolutely right, Sheikh. Sheikh, from here, before I actually move into the dynamics of the economic system and how it is implementable, how it is practical in the world today.